Hello there. Topic of today will be food. Food, consumerism. What is food about? And especially for those who are really working hard, releasing all the old paradigms, sifting through the emotions, the old mentality and stuff. Sometimes I hear people really keep on winding and winding circles and having a hard time sifting through this old stuff all the time. And much of that is really connected to the intake of food. How do you feed yourself? Which is not obvious these days. And many are still working on releasing animal products, which is pretty much essential if you would like to completely clear your body out from old paradigms, because the human body has never been intended to consume anything from an animal from the early ages on. It came into creation really with the broken down paradigms, or what many call the fall from Lemuria Atlantean times. And so as we are living the repair on every level, really, it is really hard for some people not to consume anything from an animal, because it has been embedded so deep in consciousness, in the taste on your tongue, in anything we think. And on the other side, there's also a lot of vegetarian people, there is a large difference between being vegan or vegetarian. Being vegetarian, in my eyes, it means you have become a cheese eater, because everything a vegetarian eats is cheese on every platter, which is not healthy at all. So in that case, I would even prefer to eat meat, because it's exactly the same. Becoming vegan really means you refrain from any animal products on a large scale, really. And the worst products would really be milk, eggs, anything from a chicken, and cheese. While most people think differently. Eating an egg is eating really a living embryo, which is worse than that meat. But maybe hard to understand for some people. I mean, I have been in that paradigm as well. I've been vegan for maybe 30 years right now. I've been a vegetarian before that, eating cheese maybe 3 times a week, because I needed the calcium I needed, and I didn't have the knowledge about how to really get into that. So I used it really as an excuse, until I really realized how it fucked my body up. Plain. It fucked my body up. Plenty of slimes in the esophagus. Breathing patterns get stuck, especially with cheese, milk, and all those dairy products. So reason for this little video is really maybe to give you a little bit more awakening on what can you really do to move forward and eliminate more of these animal products in your life. I've had so many people talking about it, which I understand, and we all do know very well in this age how the cruelty that has been used and is in use these days with animals. But what most people do not realize in these days is that when the animals suffer from fear and I mean any instinct and sadness and everything they feel gets into the cells and the bloodstream of the meat that you are eating. So what you do when you take something from an animal into your body, into your intestines, it means that all the emotions from that particular animal will actually plug in your thinking patterns, meaning you get 1,000 times more emotions that come from the outside merging with your own human emotions. So how worse can it get in the elimination procedures? If you are about to eliminate your fears, your sadness, your fractures, there is so much emotionally guilt, shame, name it, and you don't at that point realize that a lot comes from animal products and you keep on consuming them. What is the use really of elimination? This may sound hard, but I mean, we could look at it from a different angle and start looking for solutions for self. What is really doable for you in order to change this? What could you do? Some people are telling me, well, I only have just a little tiny bit of meat a day. And my answer would be, it would be far more better to only have once or twice a week a bit of meat or cheese or whatever you like, or have a lot of it for 2 days a week, which makes a large difference than having just a tiny little bit every day, because your intestines, your stomach, your liver would never have the time to completely eliminate all the debris and all the emotions and mentality that comes from an animal, actually. Neither does your brain and your psychological content especially. So maybe give it some reflections, see what you can do, see what you can do to really assist your clearing processes. A good way would be, of course, detoxing with juices all day, and set up a new dietary program. What would help massively, of course, is the physical exercises like running, Pilates, and I'll be giving some introduction to that next week or in the coming 10 days. Just to give you an idea how important exercises, because living in a body, we have the physical, we have the emotional contact, we have the mentality, your spiritual outlet. All these have to fall in line, really, in order for you to change and shift in consciousness. So if you're eliminating everything that is on the mental and psychological nodes, and your body has a hard time to sift through it, it's merely due to the food, the intake of food. So there is physical food, there is mental food, there is psychological food, spiritual food through light. Light can really, really be the highest level of nourishment you can have. Think of the breatharians. I mean, most of the time, I don't need no food anymore, except when I'm really, really changing a lot of things in my body. Changing things like I'm aligning to a new bone structure, I'm aligning to bigger expansions in my brain, or aligning, changing the skin, seeing how the fountain of youth, what they talk about, is coming through my own skin, because of course we need to be proof of what we talk about, right? So then there's many times, and I eat and drink a lot really, but just, I mean, fruits and grains and a lot of vegetables, especially juices, and sometimes I need just only nuts all the time. Beans, for example, and some days, I mean, for 3, 4, or 5 days, I just have some liquids, a bit of water, maybe a juice or two, but I don't need it really, except when shifting. So I don't really stand 100% about what vegetarians really do, because I've heard many people died from it, because I mean, not respecting what the body needs at a certain time and space is not respecting what you are doing with self, and it's not self-love either. So coming back in terms of loving yourself on a higher level is not agreeing either to sugars all the time. And that's another item very important to talk about, because sugars can literally kill the influx of light through the body and changing the entire cellular structure. Because there's enough sugar in the foods already as a natural component, actually. But that again and again, it's all training, because the more you work with light, the more you infuse, the more you get to know the consciousness behind light, or within light, within grid systems, working with the first 13 ways of creations especially. If you would work with that at least 2 or 3 hours a day, you will see that your body will automatically reject animal products, and especially sugars. I remember working with light, 25 years ago, and I did my first big seminar, really opening the breath to everything I could, not understanding the waves or grids or anything I'm talking about right now, but I trusted it, and I knew it was the right path, as I channeled directly from the other side with many entities. But it was a very difficult path, because there was nobody who was doing it at the time being, except for maybe, let's say, about 100 people all over Workplane, which is not much at all, really. But then I noticed when I was breathing and took on the longer breaths, really, that I didn't need that much food, and I couldn't handle sugar as a natural thing, just natural. I just had to refuse it. And so I'm moving up and learning about living in different dimensions, learning about the waves, the frequencies, etc., etc. I also learned that cheese got out of my diet as a natural. Couldn't handle it anymore. It was, at a certain time, and you start working with the elements really, and your smell gets so high, you start refusing most of the foods that are around, and so that's another part of it. But on the other side, there's so many interesting things we can do with self to really get out of the density of animal products and sugars especially, because when clearing out and emotions pop up and people are, let's say, clearing out addictions especially, they can do it. But what I see most of the time, they grab into chocolate and sugars of any kind. There's nothing bad of having a piece of chocolate once in a while, or anything you really like, that's perfectly okay. But taking it on an everyday level in large amounts means you're just sussing the emotion with another emotion. And once we understand that, we understand there is a lot more to clear in the sub-levels, actually. And here it's really where the grids stab up, the crystalline grids, and they really fuse in the body, and it's a bit like adjusting your breath on an everyday level. and seeing where your breath gets stuck. For example, some people, when they breathe in, they breathe and it stops right here. And so the head never receives anything as just a little bit of oxygen. But when the breathing patterns opens to the brain and the entire body, you start to really feel all the waves coming in. And it's exactly these waves that stop you from dense foods. Let's put it that way. The density, the debris, the emotional foods, actually. Because when I breathe in like this, I could just go on and on for a few minutes, actually. And then I hold my breath, a certain space in my body where it needs healing, for example. Then it starts really waving and circulating as quick as it, or there's slower waves I work with as well that go this way, but you feel it as deep as you can touch your hand. It feels really like waves when you go in a jacuzzi or when you go into a wild sea or something. That is when you know that you really have opened the breath to highest potential. And there's many, many degrees about that. There's the breath of source, there's the breath of light, there's the breath of supreme light, eternal. There is chi. Chi is connected also to many levels, like there's a solar body level chi, there is a celestial body level chi, and the universal. That's my study right now, the universal level chi. Not easy to get into it, but really gets you energized day and night on a higher and higher level. So I hope this little thing about food will make you reflect a little on what you're doing and love yourself on every level, and see what you can do for self to really upgrade into that. See what you can really eliminate, and maybe create a program for self to do better, and how the fitness can help you to move forward a little bit quicker. Okay, thank you. Good luck. Bye.